All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday there to everyone watching. It is Friday, March 10th. We got 6 games on today's NBA slate. We're going to jump into each game. We'll talk about each game. I'll give you my lean on the spread and my lean on the total. But like I tell you guys in every video, my final plays will be in the pinned comment. What I'm actually going to be rolling with tonight, I update that throughout the day, so make sure to keep an eye on that. Last night, we go 1-1. We had the under in the Hornets and the Pistons game. That cash, but then we had Knicks +4. They were taking on the Kings, and yes, I know I've been misspeaking and getting the Knicks and Kings team names messed up. No, I'm gonna correct that right in the ship. But anyways, we had Knicks +4, right? They lose the game by 5 points. They lose by 5 points, so we're right there. It's good to get a win in the column, though. As you guys know, we were in the red 2 nights prior to. This one's a little bit lighter of a red, but let's have a good kickoff to the weekend in this Friday, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Y'all have been going absolutely crazy on the like button for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. We're getting 200 likes on every single video, so let's see if we can do that again, guys. I appreciate every single like, every single subscribe, every single person becoming a member, which we call ballers on the channel. I cannot thank you guys enough as of late, and we're gonna keep grinding to get these videos over to you. So let's jump into it. We got the Sixers hosting the Blazers here. Sixers 8.5-point favorites. Total right now sitting at 230. In their last game that they played, Philly won 105-95. That was back in mid to late January here. Philly was 1.5 favorites in that game. They win that game on the road. That was their only meeting this season. In their last 10, Philly against the spread here 6-4 compared to Portland's 4-6, and Portland's struggling on the road, 2-4 in their last 6 against the spread on the road. We do take a peek at the injury. James Harden is on the injury report for Philly. He is listed as probable, so that is good. And then for Portland, Anthony Simons is upgraded to questionable there. Portland coming off of that loss to Boston a couple nights back, and Philly has won 3 games in a row. Now, they haven't covered 3 in a row here. They've covered 3 of their last 5, which is good, but they've got that, I think it was like 150-147 win over Indiana a couple nights back, being 6-point favorites there. I do think that this is a decently high number, if I'm being completely honest, but I think Philly has what it takes. They're playing decent basketball. They're playing respectable basketball, I guess I could say, and they are at home here. So I'm going to lean Philly minus the 8 points, and then in terms of the total, I ever so slightly lean towards the over. The thing that's kind of getting me off the over here would be the fact that the last time they played, it was only a 200 total finish, and that was a 235 total set in that game. So a little weird, I guess geeked out about that, but both these teams haven't been playing great defense, I should say. So I think that this could be a game where both teams at least score, 110-120 type of game. Moving on, we got Washington taking on the Atlanta Hawks here. The Wizards 1-point dogs at home. Total up there at 238. They just played a couple nights ago, and it was a heartbreaker for me, guys. I talked about it in the last video. That was one of our losses when we recapped 2 nights ago, right? Washington won 122-120 in their last 10 games here. Washington 5-4-1 against the spread, and the Hawks just not getting the job done on the road. 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 games. I want to run it back and take the Hawks, but I don't like what I saw. I guess both times they've played, both of these games have come down to the buzzer. So I'd rather lean the home team and getting points, because both these teams have matched up very, very well against each other. Even though it is only 1 point of a spread, I've seen 1.5 on some sportsbooks, so I think it's going to move in that direction. I don't know if I jump into this game. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if I actually ultimately end up rolling with it, but I will say I think I'm going to lean the home team here just because they played so close and getting a point. In terms of the total, I can't help but look at the under, even though both the last time these 2 teams again have played, they've come down to the wire and been decently high scoring games, 122-120 and 119-116. I still think that after a while, you've played each other close 2 times. The 3rd time, I feel like you start to learn and play a little bit better defense, so I'm going to lean towards the under there. Guys, before we get into the rest of the slate, I do want to talk to you guys about Jock Market, guys. Jock Market's a cool app here. I've been using it for the last week or so. It is really cool. It pretty much combines the stock market and players. You can buy players prior to the game, and you can sell them throughout the game. You get an allotted chip total to use and spend prior to, and then during the game, each player, their value is going to go up or down. You can buy or sell, and then whoever has the most chips or most value within their account, I guess, at the end of the game does end up winning. I joined a contest for free a couple nights ago. It was when Jason Tatum was out and De'Aaron Fox got ruled out, so I invested invested heavily in Jaylen Brown and Kevin Huerter. Both of them are only like 2 chips a share. I bought 20 plus shares of both of them. We ended up cashing a free entry, ended up making $6. So it's a really cool app. Make sure to check it out. That link is going to be in the bio. You can also do the normal pick'em format like you have for Prize Picks, Thrive Fantasy, all that stuff, where you just pick player props, and based on how many you get right, you get paid out. They have both of those game modes. So if you are into those types of props and player props, definitely check out Jock Market. Some of the better odds and values over there as well. But then if you're really interested in what makes them unique, which is that stock market exchange, I would check that out as well. Go check it out. Download the app. You can use the link in my bio. Use the link in the description here. And if you put in any money, they're going to match it 100%. So make sure to check out Jock Market, guys. I've definitely been enjoying it as of late. Let's get going. Let's get back to the games here. We have the Spurs taking on the Nuggets. Spurs 12-point dogs here. Total at 234. I've seen this going up on Sportsbook, so I imagine that total is going to rise, which is great because I do like the under here. I don't think San Antonio is going to be able to carry their weight. They played back in early November. Denver won 115 to 109. And then in early November, Denver won 126 to 101. So 2 meetings this season, both underneath the line that we're looking at here. In their last 10 games, Denver 7-3 against the spread, and they're playing well on the road. 4-1 in their last 5 against the spread on the road. San Antonio 3-7 against the spread. The only thing I don't like about this is how big that number is, but I really can't back the Spurs, so I'm going to slightly lean Denver. I don't think this becomes a final play unless I work it into some sort of a 5-point teaser or something to get them down to -7, but even at -7, that still is a decent chunk of change, right? So I'm probably avoiding this spread here, but I don't hate the under. I think that this game could actually stick in the 220s, 224 to 226 or so. Decent margin compared to what I haven't projected at and what Vegas has, so I might take a peek at the under. Make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment. All right, moving on, a game that blew, just, oh my God, it just, we took the bait and it blew up in our face last time. Miami taking on the Cavs. Miami 1.5-point dogs at home. The total at 213.5. We had the over in the last game and it finished at 204. We needed 215. I can't look at the over now. All the numbers are telling me that, this should still go over both these teams. So I just can't look at it, because if I look at that 213.5, I'm going to pull the trigger on the over. And we've seen how that works out. In fact, I'm whomping myself because I fell for the bait. But anyways, guys, Cleveland taking on Miami here. Miami, like I said, 1.5-point dogs in their last 10 games here. Miami 2-8 against the spread. Cleveland 5-5 against the spread. When they did last play, Cleveland was 1-point favorites. They won that game. Very similar to this. I expect the same sort of outcome unless we see any sort of injury shakeups here. I just think Cleveland is on another level than Miami. It's not to say that Miami, or Cleveland, I should say, is on this upper echelon. Like, they were playing like a top tier team at one point. I do think that they're a really talented team, but I think Miami's kind of in the shitter right now. Excuse my French. So I think that Miami is kind of starting to figure, or trying to figure some things out. Whereas Cleveland here has won 4 of the last 5 games, covered 4 of the last 5. So I'm going to look at them here to get this win, a 1.5-point cover. In terms of a total, guys, I don't want to do it, but I'm leaning over. How could I lean under, right? So I'm leaning over. We'll see if that becomes a final play. If that becomes a final play, I've lost my mind, but we're rolling with it anyway. So keep an eye on the pinned comment here. Moving on, we got Minnesota taking on the Nets here. Minnesota 4.5-point favorites at home. Total 232. Right now, these two teams played in late January. Minnesota won 136 to 125 in their last 10. However, 5-5 against the spread, and then at home, Minnesota 0-3 against the spread. Compared to Brooklyn in the last 7 games, 4-3 actually positive against the spread on the road. In their last 5 games, overall 4-1 against the spread as well. Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, Royce O'Neal, all questionable for tonight's game, and no major injury updates for Minnesota. I think Brooklyn catches this win, plus 4.5. I don't hate that spot for them. Obviously, they're different teams, so a lot of the season historicals and season statistics are going to be kind of skewed towards when they had a little bit more talent. But I do think if a lot of those guys end up playing, if they are able to roll out Spencer Dinwiddie, Cameron Johnson plays, Nick Claxton's a go, I do think that they can compete with this Minnesota team. So I'm really in Brooklyn here as an underdog, plus the points. And then in terms of a total, looking at yet another under. Excuse me. Moving on here, we got Toronto traveling to LA. Lakers 1-point favorites here at home. Total sitting at 224.5. In terms of injuries, the Lakers, Anthony Davis is probable. LeBron's still out. D'Angelo Russell is upgraded. It's probable for Toronto. No major injury updates. I think that this Toronto team, you know, I can't really tell what to make of them. They're winning some games, they're covering, and they lose 2 in a row. Denver Clippers, they've had, at least as of late, a pretty tough schedule, so I will give them that. But I think this Lakers team, even without LeBron James, can compete with Toronto at home. So I don't know if this ultimately ends up becoming a final play, but I am going to lean towards the Lakers here, pretty much in a pick-em situation. And then in terms of a total, I think this one gets over the mark. I think it gets towards the high 220s, so I'm going to lean towards the over here, guys. And that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys do enjoy. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that like button. But guys, hopefully you did enjoy, and we'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.